Hello, welcome to the TC Lewis Show. Thank you so much for tuning in to this inaugural episode. I have been puttering around with podcasting for the past 10 years, probably nearly 11, and here we are. Technology, age, wisdom has brought us together here to this place. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the TC Lewis Show. So this moment has motivated me to begin my podcast. Finally, I feel that I've lived enough that I have something valuable and valid to say. Truly and honestly, I'm starting this podcast in this moment to help me get over my ex. I need a place, another safe space to purge these feelings and process my past relationship and perhaps a few others. Also, I wanted to get over imposter syndrome. Ever since this, I probably have always had it, maybe not had the language to describe what I was feeling, what I have been feeling for many years of my life, the years where we actually have to perform and do what we think and say that we can do. Fear, anxiety comes up at every turn. So let's push past that. And so we begin. And honestly, I'm starting this podcast because I just love to play around with microphones, cameras, lights, computers, and other shiny things. These headphones, don't need them. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Our topics for today include I wish I didn't miss you anymore. Would you cut that out? Donald Trump's inauguration emotions. Pronouns. Pods I like and love. Did you know? What are we manifesting, releasing, and grateful for? Word of the episode. Feelings of success. And other thoughts. That's nice. Feelings of success and other thoughts. We get silly around here, so let's just get to it. I wish I didn't miss you anymore. I guess it's story time already. So I was in a relationship for nearly 3 years with a person, a gentleman who, it just didn't work out. It didn't work out for various reasons, as I'm sure we will explore on this, what I call the TC Lewis Show, your favorite podcast. It didn't work out. It was an unhealthy dynamic, an unhealthy situation. When I say that, let me make sure you know that it wasn't physically harmful, but definitely emotionally, a twinge of psychological harm. I don't believe that it was necessarily intentional, but that was the case. And there was, everything has a balance. There was harm on both sides in that we were harming each other by not being completely honest with the situation, what was going on. So no violence, no physical violence, no cheating or any of the usual fluffernutter that goes on between partners in romantic relationship. None of that. Just simply incompatible worldviews, incompatible levels of emotional intelligence or awareness. I'll say that. Not even intelligence, just awareness. And also, incompatible levels of fear and anxiety. Trust me, I have my share of fear and anxiety. Hence, the reason why it took me 10 years to realize this dream of beginning a podcast. But fear and anxiety ruled the mindset, of this person. So much so that, it pushed me away. It made me miserable, unhappy. And this just happened to be the best situation, romantically, relationship wise, that I've ever been in, or I had ever been in that thus far. We all know much better is soon to come. The sun will come out tomorrow, right? So I wasn't happy, but I was I was doted on, adored, loved and protected. And then it became too much. It became overprotection. It became over adoration. It became an overindulgence of him and of me. You know what I mean? Like I was his everything, which sounds great. But it's not when he couldn't be my everything, because I am my everything. The things that I desire, that I enjoy, the summation of that is my everything that I like to enjoy outside of myself. But a person, I guess in other words, like he felt that I completed him. And this is how you behave when, you have your other half. You become one, and you when I bleed, you bleed. When I'm sad, you're sad, that type of thing. When you feel, I feel. What you want is what I want, but we didn't want the same thing. So incompatible worldview, incompatible desires, incompatible relationship philosophy, but we both wanted very much so a relationship, a true partnership, a true friendship. And we were that for each other until we couldn't be. And unfortunately, maybe, I was the one to initiate several times separation. And so, but that doesn't make it any less hard to move forward. Also, another tricky element to this situation is that after the last time I broke up with him, after it took physically, where he moved out, we were living together, he moved out, and but then he wouldn't still give me my space, and I had to go even further to protect myself. But we could get into that in later episodes, the point is, even through all of that turmoil, ending up miserable, in the last, at least, I mean, it was tumultuous the whole time, but it was toxic fun. Okay. And a good friend of mine helped me gave me the language to describe the kind of love it was. I mean, it was, and why it took so long, and it was so hard. Not took so long, but it was difficult to really decide that I couldn't take it anymore. Is because the kindness and the love was toxic. Toxic kindness. Have you ever heard of such a thing? But it made sense, because that's why it was always hard for me to describe why I had to put up very strong boundaries between myself and my mother, because she's a really nice person, really loving and caring. She means well. But there's just this way that she has that it's an energetic, like, you know, pulling on me. And so I don't know if it happens that she affects other people that way, but it was the same thing with, my ex. Just this pulling, like this neediness. And I realized a long time ago that people cannot fill you up. You have to fill you up. You are your own source of happiness. If you are relying on someone else to be your happiness, you are a slave to other people and therefore your environment. So with him being so attached to me in such a strong way, to the point where it was necessary to begin excluding people from my life. I mean, when you can't talk to your significant other about your day because it includes humans that just naturally occur, that they have a fear around you being close to these particular humans. And when I say humans, I mean male persons. It was tough. But again, I mean, he wasn't violent. He was maybe emotionally violent. Not maybe. He was emotionally violent. I'm working on minimizing language. In fact, I've always been working on that, because once I realized that there isn't just anything, there is something. Anyhow, let's pause. Let's take a break. Thank you so much for joining us for this first segment of the first episode of the TC Lewis Show. I will be posting this, as garbage and trash as it is. We're going to keep it moving, broadcasting or recording live from my room studio, Cocoa Butter Lotion Central. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back. Thank you so much for joining us on this inaugural episode of the TC Lewis Show. So my first attempt at story time was okay. I think it might be easier to, in the next episode, start from the beginning with that one. But anyway, I wish I didn't miss you anymore, because it's rough and it's tough to miss someone that you are just incompatible with romantically. And, you really hoped that it could be a friendly situation, but it just, that didn't work out either. There were so many good things, but in the end, it couldn't sustain. It was unsustainable. So, anyway, moving on. Also, I have down here in my notes, it's like someone died. It's okay to have these feelings. It's normal. It's grief. Someone died. The person you thought you knew, and the version of you that loved that person. And now it's time for something we like to call, would you cut that out? Oh, neighbor. So I have a neighbor above, a neighbor above. Not the Lord, but, I like to say that in the words of one of my fave podcasters, Curly Nikki, everything that we see in front of us, the people, the objects, the plants, the animals, is God showing up as those things. So God showing up as TC, God showing up as you, God showing up as my bed, as we are in my studio bedroom, not studio apartment, but my bedroom, which is now my brand new podcast studio. That's nice. But yeah, God showing up as our environment. So I have a neighbor, and I like to think of this neighbor as God showing up as my neighbor. But neighbor, friend, you burping loudly, so much so that I can hear it through the floorboards, and you burping so loudly and so forcefully that it sounds like you're throwing up, like you're vomiting. I know this particular sound of gastric audibility, this particular type of gastric audio really signals illness. I understand. But would you cut that out? Please. It's also accompanied by a particular smell. I believe that it's got something to do with diabetes. I don't know if this God appearing as my neighbor has a diabetic condition. Look, I don't know. I'm just simply saying, would you cut that out? Perhaps if it is an illness, can you get better? Can you heal? Can you be cured so that me and my family can not be tortured by that sound, that guttural gurgling that occurs at odd times above our heads and below when you're visiting the basement? Could you cut that out? Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned in to the TC Lewis Show, your favorite podcast. And that was Would You Cut That Out? We'll be right back with more after this. Welcome back. This is the TC Lewis Show, your favorite podcast, recording live from my bedroom studio. Welcome. As we round out this inaugural episode, which I'm very proud of, as trash ass as it may be, as I loved to encourage my fellow radio or my former radio mentees, all of those wonderful volunteers here in Cleveland at the loveliest community radio station, 95.9 FM. They would be so nervous during their first episode of their radio shows. And I would say, the first one is always the worst one. It goes up from here. And here I am encouraging myself and simultaneously encouraging all of you to just do it. the first thing is probably going to be the worst version. Maybe. Hopefully. You know what I mean? Because it can go down, but you endeavor to go up on that escalator of success, right? Escalator of success. So one thing about me, TC, that's me. You're tuned in to the TC Lewis Show, streaming live from my bedroom studio. One thing you gotta know about me is I love words. One word that is at top of mind lately is procrastination. Now, that has been a theme word for nearly my entire life. Probably as soon as I learned the word, I knew I aligned with that, putting things off to the last minute. Recently, I was introduced to the etymological breakdown. Now, I haven't done my due diligence in confirming this, but procrastination can be broken down into two parts. First part, pro, meaning in favor of. Second part, crastinate or crastination, which signals delay. So if you are a procrastinator, if you procrastinate, you, my friend, are in favor of delay. You promote the behavior of putting things off until they can putting off doing things until they can no longer be put off, and sometimes even beyond. Procrastination. My friends, right here, we will get into another segment I like to call Did You Know? But did you know? Did you know that the opposite of procrastination is precrastination? That's Procrastination. The definition, Google tells us, is doing something. Actually, Google got this from the Oxford Dictionary. Precrastination, doing something right away without thought. Doing something early at an extra expense. So rushing to get things done to get them out of the way. That's precrastination. It often leads to incomplete tasks, incomplete work, lots of mistakes where you have to go back and rework the task, redo the assignment, litigate the case, replace the brake line because you didn't put it in right the first time or the third time. I don't know. That's not my experience. Maybe it's yours, but those who are precrastinators often are lauded and applauded for their ability to attend to tasks right away with great urgency. But that can also lead to a world of blunder. So I asked Google, what is the balance between procrastination and precrastination? And an article, let's see if I can find it. If I can find it, I'll insert my voice right here with the name of the article. So in that article, it outlined 3 tactics to balance out procrastination, precrastination. One is this a purposeful delay? Are you putting off a task in order to give yourself a break or to genuinely wait for a better, more opportune, convenient time to get this task completed? Is it a purposeful delay? If so, put a time limit on the delay. If not, you want to push yourself to get that item done. Next, promptness. Now, I didn't write down an explanation of this one. Promptness, I'm going to take it to mean that you don't have to rush. You can get things done promptly, like on time. I think prompt is on time, in the timely manner, not before time, not after time, on time. Also, another tactic, last of the three I have for you today on this edition, this segment we like to call Did You Know? You can strike a balance between procrastination and precrastination by just simply taking a break from a task that you're doing. I find myself in the middle of something that really is giving me energetic pain to tackle and to complete. Often, I let the ADHD kick in, and then I go and wander off to some other thing, procrastinate. But now I see that as just taking a break, perhaps even a purposeful delay, so that I can just give my brain a rest, give my energy body a rest. Sometimes you just get a little energetically icky. You could even get an actual bad taste on your tongue or something, doing something you don't want to do, especially if it has negative odors involved. What is a negative odor? What's a positive odor, TC? There are plenty. Think about it. But anyway, promptness, purposeful delay, taking a break. That's how you balance out procrastination, precrastination, doing something right away without giving it much thought, doing something early at an extra expense, leading to problems, just as procrastination, putting things off, can also lead to problems. So I will not put off the end of this inaugural episode of the T.C. Lewis Show. I hope you have had a good time here. I hope that you come back and join me next time. Hold me accountable. Let me know that you want more. Let me know if you don't. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Because I've been waiting 10 years. I said that up top. 10 years to have the courage to do this. So, you can't stop me from living. Only I have that power. I won't sing ever again. Oh, yes, I will. But anyway, I'm just trying to find a way to gently wrap this up. And all I got to do is say bye. Thanks for tuning in. The T.C. Lewis Show, recording live inside my bedroom studio. Till next time, thank you.